Have you been thinking, I'm too in my head for hypnosis? Or maybe someone told you that you're not hypnotizable? If this sounds familiar, you're in the exact right place because in this video, I'm gonna walk you through why it really doesn't matter if you're too in your head and why the idea of who is and isn't hypnotizable is just a myth. So stay with me to the end because you're going to feel really differently about what is possible for you. So typically people who ask me about if they're hypnotizable fall into two categories. One, they've tried hypnosis or hypnotherapy before and felt like it didn't work. Or two, people who've tried meditation and feel like they couldn't get themselves to relax or couldn't get their mind to turn off. So they just assume that hypnosis wouldn't work for them either. And I've worked with both types of people. People who have worked with another hypnotherapist and didn't feel like they were hypnotized, and people who swear that it's not gonna work for them because they're not able to relax. And guess what? They're both able to be hypnotized, go in, do the work, and heal with whatever we're working on. And what this really all comes down to is this idea of hypnotizability as if it's a trait that you're either born with or not. And it also comes down to misconceptions about what hypnosis is and what it isn't, and what it feels like, and what it's supposed to feel like, and what you're supposed to experience. So let's break this down. Here's the truth about who is hypnotizable and who isn't. Everyone is hypnotizable because hypnosis is a natural state. It's not this crazy woo-woo magical thing that a spell that we put on people. Hypnosis is a natural state that we all go in and out of all day long. When you're driving down the highway and you arrive at your destination and you're like, wait, did I stop at the stoplights? Like you don't even remember making the conscious decision of like driving, but like you arrived. You're in a state of hypnosis. Or when you're watching a movie and you get so engulfed in the movie that like you become the characters and all of a sudden you're crying and you feel like you're the one living it out. And 2 hours goes by and you're like, holy cow, that was fast. That's a state of hypnosis. When you're falling asleep and you're starting to enter this like groggy, dreamlike state, you're like half awake, half asleep. And same thing when you wake up in the morning and like you're awake, but you're kind of asleep. You're like, what time is it? Is it morning? What's going on? Those are both states of hypnosis. So hypnosis is something natural that we all go in and out of all day long. So when someone asks me about if they're able to be hypnotized, I ask them, well, do you go to sleep at night? And if you do, then yes, you can be hypnotized. So if we all go in and out of hypnosis and we're all able to be hypnotized, why do some people work with certain hypnotherapists or do hypnosis but don't feel like they got hypnotized? The real reason is way less about their ability of being hypnotized and more about a whole slew of other factors. And the biggest factor being that we all go in and out of hypnosis differently. And you need to work with someone who is privy to the different ways that we can go into hypnosis. So that way they can tailor the session personally to you to make sure that you go into hypnosis in the way that you are designed to. So this is the biggest reason why people might work with someone and they feel like it didn't work for them. Because the reality of the situation is that there are a lot of different hypnosis certifications and programs out there. And while they may educate about hypnosis, they might not really educate about the complexity of the human mind and how different minds receive different information. And that's really important if we all go into hypnosis differently. So that is the biggest reason why I see that it works for some people and why it doesn't for others. And again, it's less about their ability to go in and more about the process that they were taken through and if it was tailored and personalized to them. And then the other reason people assume that hypnosis feels like a certain way or looks a certain way, they assume that their mind will go completely blank and that they're not supposed to think at all. So when the experience doesn't match their assumptions of what they think it should be like, they just assume that the experience didn't work for them. Hypnosis is just like a very zoned out state, and there are different levels of hypnosis. So sure, sometimes you will go super deep and your mind will go kind of blank and you'll kind of just be in this state of being, but it doesn't mean that you have to get to that level in order to consider yourself hypnotized. That is the misconception, is that people think that they have to get to this super deep level and don't realize that they can be in lighter states of hypnosis and it's still doing the work that it's supposed to be doing. Even in light states of hypnosis, you can have profound profound subconscious shifts. And in those light states, your mind might drift. But guess what? That's okay. And guess what? As a practitioner, sometimes we want you to be in that lighter state for different reasons. So don't close yourself off to the experience you're actually having because you think that you're doing it wrong or that it's just not working for you. This is usually more of your own misconceptions or perfectionistic tendencies or your fears and less about the legitimacy of the hypnosis experience that you're having. Your subconscious is always listening, even if your conscious mind is fidgeting or half listening. Sometimes we want your conscious mind to be thinking about something else because then it will have less resistance to the new information that you're getting in the hypnosis. So sometimes it is a good thing, but you won't allow the process to actually work for you if you're going to shut down what's happening because you think that it's not working the way that it should instead of leaving it up to the professional to decide if it's working or not. What matters is a whole lot less about how deep you go or losing awareness or if you're being good at it, and a whole lot more about your willingness to explore and your openness to the process. So before I get to my last point, let me know in the comments, is this making sense? Am I breaking some of these myths and misconceptions that you had, and are you learning something about the process from this? And then the last thing that I want to cover is the people who have tried meditation and weren't able to relax or sit quietly or sit still, and so then they just assume that hypnosis won't work for them either. People assume that meditation and hypnosis are the same thing, but they are not. They feel the same to the person listening, but they're actually very different. They have different purposes, and hypnosis uses a different framework, structure, format, wording that is highly intentional to quiet the parts of you that can't sit still or that overthink. So typically the people who come into sessions who are like, I don't know, I've tried meditation and it doesn't work for me, I don't really know if this will work, they give it a try and they find that hypnosis actually quiets their mind, unlike meditation. And that happens because of a reason. It's not just happenstance, it's the process. And if you want more information about the difference between meditation and hypnosis, then I made this video that will give you a better understanding about the differences between the two. So you can watch that here. But honestly, the people who think that their mind is too much or they're not actually able to relax are the people that need it most and are the people that find the most relief by working with hypnosis. So consider it. All right, if you have been self-disqualifying from deeper healing because you don't feel like you can do hypnosis right or that you're not hypnotizable enough, then I hope you hear this loud and clear. That belief no longer belongs to you. It is no longer true, and you are still capable of deeper healing and doing this work even if your mind is analytical, busy, and still a little unsure. So if you are curious about how this actually looks in practice, then I've got this video that walks you through exactly what happens in a hypnotherapy session. So I'll see you over in that video.